This next topic in Altair Inspire Studio is about how PolyNURBS can melt in a symmetry operation. I'll show in a minute what I mean. Let's first create a PolyNURB as a base. And I again pick the PolyCube. I want to start drawing from the center, so I will activate a grid, letting me snap and zoom out a little bit. And I start dragging for the base. I press Ctrl and I release my mouse button. For the height, let's pick this. And I'm done, so that's fine. I press W to invoke the move tool and move it out of the center. Next, I will perform a rotational symmetry, a radial symmetry. To do that, I need to go into the modify ribbon. And the modify ribbon has tools for symmetry. I don't see them, so I need to scroll a little bit. Here they are. So I pick the radial symmetry tool and I click the object. Immediately, objects are being created, now with a number of 4. And I can dynamically increase the number or decrease the number. And I can also click and type, and I press 3. And here you see what happens. The PolyNURBS melt into each other. Now I want to do this around the center, so let's go to the top. And I move the center point of the operation to the origin. I'm done, so I right click. And if I look to the left, I see that in my model browser now I only see a radial symmetry. The PolyCube is gone. If I want to see it again, I can click the closed eye icon here and it gets revealed. As an alternative, I can also click the radial symmetry, and then at the bottom part there is a history, the construction history shown, and there is the PolyCube. I can select it here, I invoke the move tool, and I can move it some more. And you'll see that dynamically the system updates. Now is a good time to disable the grid snap, so I can seamlessly see what I'm doing. To better understand what happens, I can also double-click the PolyCube and unNURBify it. Now I accept and I move again. And you see that as soon as they touch each other, they Boolean operate into one object. And if I smooth that out, need to double-click the PolyCube again, NURBify, you see the result immediately. Now while I'm editing, I can add some more detail. So I go to the PolyNURB and I say split. And like I've done before, I can dynamically add edges. And now I can edit those. For instance, I can select the last 4 vertices, and then I invoke the move tool, but in the move tool I also have an option to scale. I click that option and I drag out this handle in the X direction, and you see that dynamically it updates. Also, I can go back to the rotate, translate, and rotate the points. And you can see that now already I'm creating a sort of a fan shape. I'm happy, so I close this operation. I'm happy, so I close this operation. And if I double click the radial symmetry, I get all the options back. So here I can, for instance, increase the number to 5. Or maybe I want 4. So you're totally flexible in your final result. And now I want to show you that you can combine this shape with real NURBS geometry. So for instance, if I want to have an axis through this fan, I want to create a bus and a hole. So let's do that. I go to the Surfaces tab and I pick a cylinder. I can snap to the midpoint and I can drag the base face and I can move up to have the height. Let's make it 35 high. Let's give it a diameter of 40 and I'm done. Now I might move it down a little bit. And like so. Let's do it 20 or maybe 15 down, or maybe 17.5. Totally flexible with that. Now for an axis to pass through this, I would like to shell out the cylinder. So I go to Modify and I have the shelling tool. I click the top face, I click the bottom face, I adjust the thickness to say 3 millimeters, and I am done. Now I want to create that hole, and for that hole I want this edge. So I go to my curve tool, curve ribbon, and I pick the edge extract tool. And now I extract this edge and I am done. Right click again. Now I can create that hole. So I go to the Modify tab and pick the Trim tool. The Trim tool allows curves to be trimmed out of a solid. So it asks me to select the objects. So I click my radial symmetry, I click the curve, I right click, and now it asks me which of the two parts I want to trim out. So I click the middle part and the hole is drawn. I right click to accept and I'm done. Now all I need is to add these two together. So I have on the Modify tab the Union tool and I click the object and I click the object. There are no objects left, so I right click to accept, right click to accept, and now this is one piece. The transition of the surface I want to smooth out a little bit, so I pick the round tool and then I click this edge. Automatically it will go full round, and I do the same for the bottom. The default is 2 millimeters, but let's make it 3 millimeters. And I'm done, so I right click and I right click. Still, I'm flexible. If I click the round, I find my radial symmetry. I double click it and I increase the copies by 5. And now I have a fan with 5 blades, or I can decrease to 3 blades. And everything will update. I accept. I can also go back to the PolyCube and change it some more. The points are still selected, and with the Move tool I can, for instance, make them longer. Everything will update, and everything is based on a PolyCube, but completely NURB defined.